first year, and I am Episcopalian.
I am a junior class of 2017, and I was raised Christian. My mom's Christian, but my dad is Muslim.
Do you have any religious affiliation?
I was raised a Pentecostal Christian. My father is a Baptist minister. My aunts and uncles are Baptist ministers as well.
Cool. I have no religious affiliation, so to say.
What do you first think about when you hear the word Jew or Jewish?
Birthright.
Birthright?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the first word that pops into your head when I mention someone who believes in paganism?
Someone who is really close to nature. Like, I know it's a sect of Christianity, but for whatever reason, paganism to me seems to be more of like, at least what I mentally imagine it, it's like Christianity in nature and believing like God is in nature.
Islam?
Yeah.
Like a Muslim religion?
Yes, yeah.
Then that would
Muslim
be
religion,
Muslim
okay.
religion.
Hey, a pagan, is that like multiple? That's not multiple gods. Is that no god?
I can't say. This is literally
Dang.
like.
Hey, I feel like I'm on a game show.
What do you first think of when you hear the word Islam? 1, 2, 3. First thing that comes to mind.
I think extremist, but that's just because of the way it's portrayed in the movie.
Like paganism?
You have 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3.
I can't put one word to it. I think of Christianity.
Just real quick then, what is the first thing that comes to your mind, first 3 seconds when I say Islam?
I'm trying to come up with a word. It's hijab.
Okay.
That's the first thing I think of.
First thing that comes to your mind when I say Christianity?
I don't want to say that.
Is that the
I'm just gonna say hate.
hate?
Sorry. I have a very crazy
That's very-
religious aunt.
Don't even trip, dog. First thing I say when I say the word Buddhist.
Calm.
First thing you think when I say the word atheist. What was the first thing you think of when I say the word Satanist?
Cool. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Is Hinduism monotheistic or polytheistic?
I think it's polytheistic.
Okay, so I took a class on Asian religions and Buddhism. They don't really have a belief in so-called like a god, but I guess if you were to have to describe one of those, it'd be monotheistic.
You know if Judaism is monotheistic or polytheistic?
Monotheistic. I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's monotheistic.
Is Judaism a monotheistic or polytheistic religion?
Oh, I do know it. It's poly. Hindu has like a few of them, and like a few gods, and they're like in different characteristics. So like one's like a baby, right? Is that Hinduism? One's a baby, one's like.
This is all you. Like,
I don't know. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's. See, like, I'm gonna look crazy on the camera. But I'm pretty sure. Damn, I don't know if it's Hinduism, but it's like three. I think it's like 3 gods in one, or something like that.
Yes, according to Mel Gibson, if anyone's seen Passion of the Christ. Well, Jesus himself was a Jew, so...
No, you don't think. So you're saying you don't think that they can?
I mean, it's a matter of fact. He was persecuted by Jews, but he was also a Jew himself. There are Jews who believe that Christ was the Messiah, and there are Jews who don't, and those are different denominations, but as a matter of fact, the Jews did kill Jesus Christ. But he was also Jewish, so it's okay. No one's mad at Jews.
I don't know. And I don't want to speak to something I don't know.
And are Muslim women oppressed?
Yes.
I I honestly don't know that much about Buddhism. Besides like the little bit I've heard like through like when they decided to talk, when like in high school when you talk about Asia very briefly in your history classes, that is like the little bit I've heard about Buddhism.
Buddha, you know. Four arms. He looks like a huge baby.
What we think of Buddha is like, I think he's like a big man. I think the bigger you are, the more wealth you have or something like that, or the knowledge. But I just know he was trying to be enlightened all his life. And I think he's like what Jesus is for Christianity, for Buddha, is it?
Buddhism.
Buddhism.
I think.
Buddhist.
Probably, I don't know. I don't know what a spell would be. No, I have no idea.
Harry Potter.
To be honest.
Alakazam. You are a wizard, Harry Potter.
Peace.
Somebody who doesn't follow their belief.
Similar to the spell where it's like it's asking for it's trying to tap into a spiritual nature to help you do something.
The Wicked Witch of the West, where's she from? I think in like
Talking about on Wizard of Oz.
the Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz.
Like I have friends who practice Wicca, so I at least know that the witch thing is like that. What everybody pictures at Halloween is definitely not what most people do.
What does it feel like to be your religion on a Lutheran campus?
I mean, I am Lutheran, but I feel like it's not necessarily a huge defining thing because we're not the majority. We're majority like Christian, but not specifically Lutheran. I would say it's easier for me to find my to celebrate my holidays and stuff like that because I am Lutheran, and the chapel is right there. So it's like I also work there, so it's really easy for me to find space and being able to talk about people, and there wasn't really much of a miscommunication when I'm saying stuff and talk about different things I do. It's easier for everybody else to comprehend because they probably heard it or they do celebrate it. So
Let me go to you next.
I think it's interesting because you don't really I think feel it until it's like the holidays or until you realize that you can't when you're in class and you realize you have to pray. It's not really a normal thing. You make the choice, either you miss out on part of the lecture or you skip your prayer. When you're Muslim, that's a really big part of your life. So I think on the daily basis, that's what you feel the most. And holidays wise, that's less. That's more occasional, I guess. But otherwise, I think we have a pretty friendly community on campus, and that does help a lot. People are considerate, and compared to others, we are a relatively accepting community, and I appreciate that.
As a pagan on campus, it's naturally hard to find people because paganism is an umbrella term. So I can't find anyone who's exactly following the style of religion, I would say, that I follow. So I have to spend a lot of time by myself. But I haven't faced any discrimination on this campus. In fact, the friends that I have made actually almost attacked me because they were so happy that I was different than them. They actually participate in anything I'm willing to put them through. So if it's a religion, if it's a holiday, or I want to have a ritual or something on the full moon, they're like, yeah, we'll do it with you. Let's just make sure our headaches don't correspond with the time you want to do it, and we'll go for it. So it's really nice, but I know I can't talk about it with everyone on campus.
I'd say for me it's pretty normal. I grew up in an area that was very Catholic, so very religious, Christian-wise, so it's not really a big change of scenery for me. I'm used to having a big cross hanging over my head all the time. But yeah, I've never faced any discrimination on campus, not verbally anyway. People do have a physical reaction when you say you're an atheist still sometimes. But no, I think people are very open to the idea of an atheist simply because, a fifth of Americans are atheists now, or they don't identify with any specific religion. So it's kind of normal at this point. It's been normalized.
So I haven't really experienced too much discrimination on campus, like compared to some other groups. I get a lot of questions on campus because I don't identify under one specific religion. I identify under two technically, and sort of where they meet in the middle. And that gets a lot of questions like, who says you can make a religion? And that's usually from more practicing or more dedicated people to their faiths. So that's what I typically get on campus. Sometimes I wish we were a little less religious sometimes, like in some circumstances, like at Thanksgiving dinner. Like, I don't think we need to have a prayer personally, but I understand why we do it because we're Lutheran affiliated, so it makes sense, but at the same time, it is sometimes awkward when you're at Thanksgiving dinner and everybody at your table's praying and you're just chilling there waiting for it to end.
It's been really difficult, I think, when people tell me that I'm the first Jew that they've ever met. But from that, I think that I've been able to stand by my own values and learn that some friendships don't work and others work really well, and it helps you kind of stand up for who you are, for what you believe in, and also find people that are willing to support that and to be there for you, which I think is great. On campus, I think the most discriminatory thing that I could say, which isn't necessarily even discrimination, just people thinking that things are funny when they're not. Like, Holocaust jokes aren't necessarily funny. And that's had to end certain friendships that otherwise probably, if I weren't Jewish, would still be intact. In terms of campus events, it's really uncomfortable sitting at a table, like, during the scholarship luncheon when everyone's like looking down saying grace and I'm sitting around and I'm like, I don't know what to do. As a music major, sometimes it could be difficult because we're expected to like sing in church once a semester, each semester, and we do a huge Christian repertoire, and that could be really difficult sometimes when your friends are telling you, or people in choir saying, well, you all just aren't relating to the music and aren't singing it well because you can't relate to the words that are in front of you, when that's not true. You can relate to them, just not through the same lens that you're relating them through. But I'm really lucky to have Hillel here and to have such a great group of people who support me, and through Better Together, our new Interfaith group. So I'm really happy about that and very excited to see where the Interfaith movement will go.
As a Hindu and a Buddhist who grew up in Nepal, coming to campus has been like such a big change, because back in Nepal I grew up in a community where both Hindus and Buddhists, people who are Hindus and Buddhists, grew up together, and like we grew up between so many different religions. And like coming on campus, I only know 2 other people who are Hindu, and I don't know anyone else who's Buddhist. So it's very, it's hard. Like 2 of the main challenges I face is that like praying, because back home when I pray, like every morning I light incense, I light a candle in the morning, and like here in school I can't do that. And like another challenge I face is I can't celebrate all my festivals, and people really don't know about it. So it's a little difficult, but I have friends who are very accepting of it, and they always tell me like, oh, like you have this festival coming up, you should celebrate it. And I'm like, how should I celebrate it? They're like, oh, we'll help you. And like it's a little difficult because like the nearest temple is like 1 hour away in Harrisburg, and like I can't even go to that. But sometimes my friends will be like, hey, if you want to go, you can tell me, I'll take you there. So like this campus is very, even though the campus doesn't know a lot about Hinduism and Buddhism, they try to open up and try to learn about it. So I feel welcome here.
Yes, I'm Lutheran, and I guess it's a lot of people group all Christianity together, and that includes like all people like hate all the people. I'm specifically ELCA Lutheran, and we're very like opening, very more on the left side of Christianity. So it's really awkward when people like talk about Christians like, oh, why do they hate all these people? Oh, I'm going to hell because somebody told me this. I've been told I'm going to hell, so it's kind of awkward. So it's just kind of like that. Not all Christians are the same. It's hard to group a lot of Christians together because a lot of the theology is very different.
I think I like for people to just know that a lot of Muslims genuinely do feel a spiritual connection with Islam. It's not 100% about the physical rules and regulations that that people who follow Islam practice. For me, Islam personally means safety in a lot of different ways, and I don't think I would be here without that sense of safety.
With paganism, people often, first off, they don't know what paganism is. So I definitely want people to look for the answer to that and be willing to look into different religions. And then another thing that is so big about it, I guess, is that the pagan community on campus is so diverse, yet we don't know each other really. Some of us will run into each other by chance, but we don't celebrate the same things, so we don't spend a lot of time together. And I would kind of just like for the pagan community to come together a little more.
I basically have two things, and it comes down to the ideas that not all of us are anti-religion and think that people are stupid that have faith. Just because we don't doesn't mean that we think those that do are any less human than us. And the other thing is a little simpler. Just because we don't have religion doesn't mean we're morally corrupt, godless heathens. So.
So being an agnostic deist, there are like three things. Mainly, one, I'm not a Satanist. Two, that doesn't mean I don't believe in anything. And three, that doesn't mean I automatically hate you because you actually follow a religion. I don't care if people have faith. If they do, that's awesome. If they don't, okay, that's cool too. Doesn't matter. And that's for a lot of people who identify in both and who don't identify under any specific religion. It's about the person, not about who you pray to or what you pray to or what you do. It's really just about being a good person.
I think I just want people to know that just because I'm Jewish and I'm different, like that's something that should be celebrated, not something that should be, wait, she's different, let me separate myself from her. There are a lot of stereotypes that I've heard on campus, even from some of my close friends, and I think one thing that I'd like to say is that I'd prefer it if people would experience our people and like what we have to do and like come check out a Hillel instead of saying, oh wait, I'm just gonna believe that stereotype that I have no basis of believing is true.
As a Hindu and Buddhist, I think the main thing I want people to know on campus is to know what Hinduism is and know what Buddhism is, and not only think about like, oh, it's Hinduism is a religion where people follow so many gods and that's it, or like Buddhists are all monks. It's more different than that, and there's so many different types of Hindus, there's so many different gods or goddesses Hindus believe in, and for Buddhists too, not everyone is a monk. So it's just learning and accepting and trying to open up on those different religions.